Okay, hello everybody. Today's date is now March 22nd, 2025. My name is Leslie Williams. I am currently at the the 150th New HA area, and I know you don't understand what that means. It's just a code term that I use for specific locations. Now, I'm going to try and make sure that I stay on I don't want to get too, when you're discussing this crime that is known as gang stalking. There's so much involved in this crime. It's complex. It's massive, and there's a lot involved. So, what the crime does so many different things. And so, when you're talking about this crime, a lot of times when you're making specific statements, things will come to mind that's related to those statements. And I don't want to get bogged down into any unnecessary details, even though all details connected to this crime are very important. But I don't want to get bogged down into sub-details of particular statements. So, bear with me a second. So, what I'm going to do is in this video, so I'm going to share with you some audio files. Well, it's actually one audio file of two places. On 3/19/2025, I went to 76 gas station to get some cigarettes. From there, I went to Rite Aid in order to try and buy some sun reliever cream. I'm sorry, some pain reliever cream, and to look at some sunglasses. And then from there, I left and went back outside and went and sat at a bench right in front of Mail Express. Then I realized that I bought two pain reliever creams, and I realized one of those I bought the wrong kind. So I went back in to return that. I then left there and went immediately to Carl's Jr. Now, before I segue into the audio, dumping the audio from a portion of the Rite Aid event, a portion of going in Rite Aid and then leaving, and then going back, and then leaving and going to Carl's Jr., what I'm going to do now is I'm going to explain to you some statements. And I'm not implying or inferring or stating that these statements apply to any and all date. Well, let's just put it to you this way, concerning this date. But let me just put it to you this way. If what I state, if it is going on and I can ever prove it, then you could say that it does apply. Just bear with me, folks. Don't walk away. So listen very carefully. And what I'm about ready to say could be massively expanded upon so that you would walk away with a more thorough understanding. But I can't do that in this particular video because I don't want to get bogged down. It would take a lot more time. So what I'll try and do is just give you some meat and potatoes concerning this statement. Now, if you don't know anything about this crime, these statements might seem a little peculiar to you because you don't have any visualizations in your mind to assist you in understanding it. I could bring up my Sound Spectrum Analyzer app right now and show you what it would be reading out. So you could see how a Sound Spectrum Analyzer app could be synthesized into the statements I'm going to make. Or should I say, what I meant to say was, could they be? Folks, I got to say things carefully, and if you knew what I know about this crime, you'd understand. So listen to me very carefully. The following statements I'm getting ready to make right now. Okay, bear with me a second. Again, if they do relate to what is going on, and trust me when I say, folks, I got a lot of things that would really reinforce my statements, then we can start to understand why a good portion of the verbal harassment and sound harassment that is propped up when I go along my route is occurring. So I'm going to make these statements, and then I'm going to segue into the audio file. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully, and I'm going to make again, this following statement could be massively expanded on so you would be able to have a more in real time, thorough, comprehensive understanding. Now, you'll understand these types of statements when you see my wideband videos. Wideband stands for Wireless Body Area of Networked Integrated Non-Consensual Biomedical Implants. And if you think to yourself, well, this doesn't sound like anything that interests me, and you get up and walk away, well, then you're going to really miss out. Excuse me, you're going to really, really, really miss out. Now, one of the things that's widely reported to be done in this crime is non-consensual biomedical implantation, which can be used for many different criminal motives, in slavery, torture, and much more. Now, some of these implants are reported to be operating by and through sound conversion to either direct stimulation to the central nervous system and or brain, which then that electrical stimulation will activate implants and compromise whatever implants that could be in the central nervous system, resulting in neural control, biological control, all depending on what wideband, could be hopefully one day proven if it's in play, and to assist in torture and the degradation, intentional, specific, premeditated, intentional degradation of health, including to disable you. And many of these implants are also reported to literally assist in biorobotization of the human body. So stay with me. Now, one thing you understand here is that, let's say if you got a victim who's got a gastric implant, and the gastric implant is being activated by and through sound conversion to radio waves, through a piezoelectric transducer, through a specific type of auditory implant. The sound propped up goes through the sound processor of the ear implant, and or directly to, because it all depends on what type of auditory implant is in play. And then it basically then will send the electrical stimulation to either the central nervous system and or get converted to a radio wave through a piezoelectric transducer, and then it would then go to portions of those radio waves can be divided up and go into several implants, at least one. Now, just stay with me, trust me, because when you see the wideband videos, you'll have a more thorough, comprehensive understanding, and your mind will literally be able to see it and draw the accurate conclusion concerning it. Now, so if you got a gastric implant in you that can be activated by and through either frequency phasing, frequency hopping through ELF, certain environmental sounds that are intentionally propped up in this crime, and or repeated words and phrases. Now, if you were to go to the Google Play Store and download a sound spectrum analyzer app, preferably the kind that has graph bars that will jump up. These graph bars will show you the dedicated sound frequency per graph bar, and can also show you the decibels of these sound frequencies. And when you see the videos that are connected to wideband or at least sound spectrum analyzer app videos, you're going to see this type of app that I'm referring to. So just trust me, stay with this account, Baby Cakes, because when you see the different videos dedicated to the sound spectrum analyzer app videos and the wideband videos, you're going to see visual representation and other corresponding, I got to say things carefully, possibly related materials that would help you see this. So if you were to download this type of sound spectrum analyzer app and repeat certain words or phrases in it, you would see the phonetic sound frequency of the phonetics of these repeated words. So a sound frequency of a word, the phonetic sound frequency of a word, and its corresponding decibel can serve the same function through specific types of auditory implants and or visual auditory implants. And we are referring to implants that can be put in the ears and possibly even nasal cavity and even in the mouth. Now, I know this is a lot to chew on, and remember, I know you're gonna, trust me, I know you're gonna, after watching this video, you're gonna still walk away with huge gaps in your understanding because you're not seeing any reference material, scientific material, any type of, you're not seeing the sound spectrum analyzer app that I'm referring to, Like if I brought the Sound Spectrum Analyzer app up right now and said, gang stalk, oh my God, suck dick, suck my dick, suck on the dick, and you see what graph bars jump up and their corresponding decibels, you would understand. You would have a more thorough understanding. You'll have a visual representation in your mind. So, let's say if you got a gastric implant and the gastric implant is being activated as a direct result of sounds that can be propped up either through ELF, environmental noises that are intentionally propped up, and or the repeated words and phrases, then when the victim, goes into an environment like a Starbucks, SDSU, and the victim is being hit with these types of sounds that causes the radio wave to go to the gastric implant, and then the victim burps, and then somebody in the environment will stage a false complaint. This person's burping, I don't like their behavior, it's offensive, or it's not appropriate for this environment. That then gives the host the ability to use the person that works in that environment and or a security guard to then complain about the burping. I got banned from Ross Grocery Store in 2016 as a direct result of uncontrolled, having a massive sudden urge to burp. And then an employee went to the manager came and banned me. She tried to claim that I was burping in her face. Total fucking bullshit. She actually walked up towards me as I was walking into the U-Scan area, and the burp came out, right at that second when she walked right by me. Now, one thing you gotta understand about these sick vile animals is that there are many exposures online that wireless body area of networked integrated implants can be activated and interfaced with by and through mobile devices. So I'll just leave that statement there. Now, another thing you need to understand as well is that when you go into a restaurant, and if you have a gastric implant in you, and even if you don't, when you take a drink of soda, which is carbonated, that can induce burping, okay? Or the carbonation from the soda can be the last straw concerning the gastric system being overwhelmed between the gastric implant being interfaced with, and then the carbonation from the soda could be the last straw, and basically, which means then it might be assistant in causing that burp to happen immediately because of what's occurring through the gastric implant while the carbonation is in play. Now, you'll understand this as I continue to talk. Now, I want you to listen to me very carefully. When I play you a section of the audio from Rite Aid, and when I play you the entire interaction from the second I walked into Carl's Jr. and then left, it doesn't matter what's causing the burps, so keep that in mind. So, what you want to pay attention to is any physical person saying gang stalk and or oh my God and or suck the dick and or suck on the dick and or suck dick being said, and pay attention to the words coming out of the songs. Okay? What words should you maybe pay attention to? Have I pointed out any specific words in this video? Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to play the audio, and this might end up turning into a 2 or maybe a 3-part video series. So if the phone notifies me that a second and or third video has started, if I notice that dialog box that notifies me that a separate video has started, I will say today's date. Now, I want you to know one of the reasons why I'm up at this early AM hour is because I literally got woke up as a direct result of extreme brutal targeting. Here's another tidbit for you to notice. When I went out today, this morning before I left, I made, every morning before I leave the HA areas, I started a brand new audio file dedicated for that date. So this morning when I made an audio file, I absolutely set this tape recorder that's going to be playing you this audio here in a minute. I absolutely set it for today's date, the 21st of March. Well, I discovered that today's audio file is actually in the file, the folder dedicated to the date of March 19th. It's right below this audio file. Now, this is the second, at least the second time I've noticed that this, and the audio file dedicated to 315.25 when I'm in fills, it completely disappeared. In an audio file, another audio file, okay, is showing at 6 a.m. to be starting for that date. That is either not dedicated for that date or was at least dedicated to once I went along my routes and then went to my HA area. So I'm just throwing that in there. I could say a lot more about that. So one thing you got to understand in this crime is that many victims I've seen their testimony, many victims over the years have stated that their electronics are being manipulated through remote neural monitoring. So concerning this Carl's Jr. event, the Rite Aid, and then the Vons event that happened on the same day, I got the receipts for that. Now, so let me go ahead and start transferring the audio. So remember what to listen for. You got to pay very, 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 very close attention. Now, I want you to also listen to me very carefully. I'm going to make one last statement, then I'll start transferring the audio over. If you go into a Carl's Jr. or a McDonald's and you order a soda, and let's say you go in there and you order a combo with a soda, and then once you get it, you decide to stay there and eat it. When you drink that soda and you take it up to your mouth and then you set it back down, if you got a running recording tape recorder on you, there's an extreme likelihood that that running recorded tape recorder is going to record the sound of you setting that cup down. Now, I'd say at least 99% of the time whenever I'm drinking a soda, like if I buy a soda, a bottle, like if I go to a gas station and buy a bottle of Mountain Dew or Sprite, when I open it up and take a drink, I always go, like that, and then I usually burp right away, including directly back to back after I go, okay? You ever drinking took a drink of soda, whether it be from a can or a bottled soda, and the carbonation tastes so good, right after you get done, the second you get done drinking it, you just go, okay? So at any time, pay attention to that sound being made and then a direct burp following from that, okay? And the sound of a cup being set down. Now, there was a lot going on in Carl's Jr., so I don't know how well the Best Buy tape recorder might have picked up that sound, but so at least pay attention for the sound of me going, like, that's good, okay? Right after I took the drink. Now, right when you hear that, at least the sound of me going, pay attention to if you hear within 1 to 3 seconds before I make that sound, suck dick, suck my dick, and or suck on the dick being said. Okay? As well as, that's the main thing you want to listen for, but as well as how many times gang stalk and or oh my God is said right before or after that. Just trust me, folks. If you knew what was going on, you thoroughly understand why these statements are being made. So, I'm going to go ahead and play. So, you want to make sure you listen for any words being stated as well in the lyrics of the song in Rite Aid, and the same thing concerning Carl's Jr. And what words might you be, what words should you be trying to notate? Have I specifically talked about any words and phrases being mentioned by physical people, at least in Carl's Jr.? So do you understand? Gang stalk, oh my God, suck dick, and any words that got the same phonetics, which means like any words that got the same sounds of gang stalk, oh my God, either suck dick, suck on the dick, or suck my dick. Trust me, folks, and I'm sorry about the graphic language. So you want to pay attention to those things being said through any form of verbal communication that is occurring in Rite Aid and Carl's Jr. So you ready? Here we go. Oh, and by the way, let me show you the date of this audio file before I start playing it. I fast-forwarded it into 2 hours and 6 minutes. Hold on 1 second. I fast-forwarded the audio file into 2 hours, 6 minutes, and 52 seconds. So I'm going to show you the date of it. Oh, hold on. So there it is right there, 3/19/25. And the audio file that's right below it is dedicated to today's date. So how did that get in this folder? Okay. There's nothing wrong with this tape recorder, folks. If you knew what I know about this crime, trust me. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to adjust the volume to about 25. And that should lessen the erroneous other background noise. So, okay. So here we go. You ready? So I'm going to press play, and this is going to take about a half hour, maybe 35, 40 minutes. Let me set something up here so the vibration of the speaker doesn't cause any more unnecessary erroneous noise to what's captured. So listen closely. You got to listen very, very, very closely. Watch this video, okay, in a quiet environment with headphones on. Here we go. Okay, so the first part is Rite Aid.
I accidentally brought the wrong kind, so I want to return this. Sorry about that. I didn't notice that. Hold on. Oh. Phone number? Phone number? 8 months. 8 months? Yeah. Congratulations. Thank you. You got the hair. Oh, I got 3. Yes, and 2-year-old is in school right now. Girl, boy? Boy. Okay. Another boy? Yes. Yeah, I'm trying to put this in. That's the only hard part. Yeah. We wanted 4, but... Thank you. Yeah, but the vacuum was great. They were all easy, but then it took people a while. Oh. So you know they're dragging you and you're like just reverse. It's a beautiful day. Alright, I'm heading to Carl's Jr. I'll put the mouthpiece back in my mouth at Carl's Jr. Make a social splash. Now, I created a memory anchor audio file this morning, but it's only it's less than 6 minutes. So I'm having to constantly bring it back up.
Alright, if I decide to eat in Carl's Jr. in any event occurs, that includes if I go outside to have a cigarette break, if I go into the bathroom, and if I go into the bathroom that fucking light turns off again, like it did last time I went there. Today. Oh man, it's packed in here. Color coding all over the place.
Okay, I'm just gonna make a brief, fast interruption here. If you hear me silently talking in the background, it's because I'm making statements in my tape recorder. You should also know that at times, and this has been caught on many audio files, sometimes what they'll do is they'll draw out one of the words. Like they'll say, oh my, okay, or my God of oh my God, my God. Well, they'll do the same thing with the other words, like gangsta, okay? Alright, so you want to pay attention to that as well.
Any sausage or you gonna Oh,
Anyways, if I, you can wait.
Wait, there bacon on the side?
Go ahead, sweetie.
And kiss me. Wait, there bacon on the side and kiss me.
You want the weekly on top?
13. 13. Thank you. Te faltaba change.
I haven't seen you in a while.
We don't have to change.
Let me get, you still got that big Carl deal?
No, not anymore.
Are you serious?
Yeah, pick it up.
Alright, let me get a double cheeseburger. No, not a double cheeseburger. Let me get a, what's it called? The big cheeseburger?
Big cheeseburger?
Yeah, but I want it plain.
Okay.
And how much are those, by the way?
$5.39.
Are you serious?
$5.81.
Give me 2 and a large fry. Full plain.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna stand right there waiting for you.
Plain large fry.
There you go. Alright, hold on.
Yes, cash or card?
Smile, smile, baby. Oh, busy everywhere I'm going. What's going on here? Looks like I walked into a title. 19. Very sure?
All right, I believe it.
Oh, got the wrong one.
Okay, so remember what I said earlier. I'm filling up the water bottle right now with Sprite because I've been in that Carl's Jr. on at least 200 dates. Okay, at least. So I become kind of like, well, very familiar with the regular employees and friendly with them too. So they always let me get free soda from the soda machine with the water cup. Okay? And they know it too. I mean, they employees have literally stood right there practically next to me while I'm doing it. So now that you hear me grabbing that soda, you hear the sound of me putting the cup up against the soda machine and filling up. I put the ice in, then I put the soda in, Sprite. So from this second forward, excuse me, whenever you hear me go, and probably burp immediately right after it, you can also try and pay attention to if you hear the sound of that cup being set down, more than likely between the sound of and burping. And you want to pay attention to if suck my dick, suck the dick, suck on the dick, or suck the dick, or suck dick is said within 1 to 3 seconds before I go, okay? So trust me, there's a reason for saying this. Okay, you ready? So here we go. Okay, I'm going to make another statement here that needs to be said, and I decided to go ahead and interrupt the audio again one more time because I want to make sure that this statement right here is said because I don't believe I've ever, I don't remember if I've ever discussed this being stated before in any particular video file. Okay, listen to me very carefully. Wideband wireless body area of networked integrated implants put non-consensually engaged sucking victim can, well, for one, they can put more than one set of them in. Two, one or more sets can be working together even as an integrated system. And even if they're completely separate and not working together as an integrated system, each set, they can also be interfaced with simultaneously and or concurrently. Okay? So, consider this. These sick bitch animals who are hosting this crime, these vile, raping, murdering animals who host this crime, one of the ways that you break the body down is not just by and through intentionally dumping radiation through implants in the organs, the blood, the bones, and the musculatory tissue. But another thing that this crime is equally importantly after is never letting the body relax. The muscles, the stomach. Because whenever we are under stress, especially if it's prolonged stress, okay, the body starts reacting to it, okay? Anticipation of repeated stimuli that's related to stress. The hypervigilance around that also induces stress. Now, let me give you an example about this. Whenever the phonetics of the repeated words and phrases are presented, okay, if they're responsible for sound to radio wave conversion, and other implants can be connected to sound to electrical stimulation, okay, to like maybe even implants in the central nervous system, okay, hold on a second. Then what you got to understand is that and here's another thing to consider too, because it's reported this plays an intimate role within the mix of this. Consider this: when a human being goes along their routes, okay, and they're involved in different physical actions, well, those physical actions are dedicated to populations of neurons and different brain trained pathways dedicated to limb movement, like moving your arms, elbows, wrist, hands, fingers, walking. And if those particular brain waves and or particular neuronal activity is not part of the neurally entrained pathway that they got you hacked on through remote neural monitoring, okay, because what they're doing, it's reported that what they're doing in part, because there's several motives of why, there's at least two motives concerning why this is going on. Auditory and brain entrainment on ultrasound. And, oh, absolutely. And so when the words and phrases are repeated, their phonetic sound frequencies and decibels are writing on the ultrasound and or an auditorial wave that is an offset wave on the ultrasound. It then goes to them, okay, and in a loop fashion, and then on the ultrasound, and then the ultrasound being looped continually, and then the computer distinguishes it and sends and marks it on the ultrasound, and it's another way for them to stay continually neurally hacked onto that brainwave, okay. And the second equally important motive would be for wideband dumps, sound conversion to radio wave through one type of auditory implant, and the other one would be possibly electrical stimulation to the central nervous system for biological and neurological control and degradation. Now, you might have 2 different types of auditory implants in you, which well, you can actually have more. So one or more auditory implants are they extremely suspected to be in play here. Once it gets converted to a radio wave, that radio wave then goes to the implant and the radiation dumps occur. So whenever a victim burps, they exhale. And what that does is that releases the trapped gas in the stomach and or esophagus that they're inducing through the gastric implant from the repeated words and phrases, and possibly even other sounds in the environment, like tones. Okay? Oh, absolutely. So, in order to cause another immediate dump, because when you burp, you're letting out gas, gastric implant. Okay? So they want to immediately cause another dump. Now, hold on one second. If this video stops while I'm in the middle of talking, it's because I just noticed that my battery is running low, which is, okay, so let's see if that occurs, because I just got notified that it was at 15% and it's already at 14%. So if the part's coming up that they don't want you to hear through cyber surveillance, they know it, they could drain the phone immediately. So if that happens, as I'm trying to convey the rest of this audio file to you, because they already drained my other phone here this morning. So I'm going to go ahead and play the audio. Let me go ahead and check the battery to see if it's now even lower than 14. Yeah, so they got it down to 8. So they're doing it right now as I speak. And it's now plugged into a charger. So what I might have to do is wait for it to charge it back up to 15, 22% or more, and then make another video to play the rest of the audio. So if this abruptly stops, then that's what happened.
see you later. What?
Did they get a new manager?
Huh?
You know if they got a new manager? My dad can do the
How
whole
long have you guys been in school?
for the end of short day. It was a short day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh.
On Wednesday, the short day we get out. For lunchtime we usually switch it.
Really?
Yeah.
I see. So how are you paying for this? You guys got a paper route or something?
His mom.
His mom? Well, that was nice of her. Alright, stay out of trouble, kids. Hey, I'll see you later. Is this your bike? You should get a pair of gloves like this in case you fall.
I have.
And a mouthpiece too. You can get these mouthpieces on Amazon or Walmart for like $10. You fall, gloves catch your fall, and then if you hit your mouth or your face, this prevents you from breaking your teeth.
Well, that's smart.
See you later, kids. Oh.
Okay, folks, now I'm sitting right now about 2 feet away from the phone, and I got some earplugs in my ears. So I don't know how well those specific emphasized the statements I made concerning pay attention, because I already know I was burping a lot in there, absolutely. So, but I don't know how I don't know how well the audio file picked up. Suck the DSCK, suck on the DSCK, or suck DSCK within 1 to 3 seconds before I burp and or go ah, because I couldn't really hear it very well due to the earplugs being in my ears. Okay, now it doesn't really matter though, because consider this. I know you understand why I'm emphasizing this, but trust me, it matters. So consider this. If I can ever find, hold on. If I can ever find excuse me. Excuse me. If I can ever find a if I'm ever able to find a audio forensic specialist, really good ones, okay, have what is known as sound filtering software, and that enables them to be able to incorporate something that's tape into the software, and then what they can then do is adjust the filtering so that certain background noises can be lowered in order so that other environmental sounds can be more how can you say it, more distinguishable. Okay, now I want you to listen to me very closely. I got audio files, at least 200-300 audio files dedicated to this particular Carl's Jr. So, and some videos too. So trust me when I say what I talked about in this video concerning, let's see if you hear suck DSCK and or suck the DSCK and or suck DSCK being said within 1 to 2 seconds before I set my cup down, the sound of the cup being set down, and or going ah, you know like when you drink soda that's real refreshing, okay, and so you go ah, like that's good, okay, and then the usual immediate burp afterwards, okay. If suck DSCK and the other two are caught being said within less than 1 second, 1.5 seconds of me doing that, basically, are they saying suck dick, suck my dick, and or suck on the dick when the cup is to my mouth? I want you to listen to me very carefully. If you take a regular cup, okay, and you grab a hold of it in order to take a drink of it when it's up to your mouth, your hand is in the cup position. Okay? Now, the following is going to be a little graphic, so I expect you to have a adult posture. Okay? Adult mental posture. When a woman is giving oral sex to a man, she's holding on to something as she's doing it. That hand is in the cup position. Okay? Now, when you see some PDF files I got concerning specific types of functional electrical stimulation through implanted arm implants, now, if you got that type of thing in you, you better be damn sure there's also an extreme likelihood that you also have implants related to that type of system that are in the wrist, hand, fingers. Okay? Now, would that allow the perpetrators to be able to determine what your limb position is? The cupping of the hand. So you can Google this. Hold on 1 second. You can go to Google. When I upload this video, I'm going to try and make either write down on a piece of paper or create a video folder and title it Hand and Cup Position, so that I remember to attach some links in these YouTube videos once they're uploaded, so you can see the type of information that I'm referring to. But you can go to Google and type in at Google arm, wrist, hand, prosthetic implant, and a lot of your initial search results will show you stuff related to prosthetic robotics. But even in that material, if you bring it up and slowly dissect it, you're going to see that the cupping position of these types of implants is extremely important, because those types of implants are dedicated to people that have suffered either partial and or total paralysis. And so through the experimentation of getting those types of implants and or for research into robotic when it comes to arm, elbow, wrist, hand, fingers, the cup position is one of the biggest things reported about that. Okay? Just trust me, folks. You'll understand this as you see the related links and materials that I'm going to dump into this particular YouTube series. Okay? So, one thing you got to understand is that if you are a victim who's got these types of implants in you, or implants that are extremely similar, once you see the ARM PDF file, you know what I'm talking about. What you got to understand is that there's an extreme likelihood that this type of ARM PDF file is also related to a neuroprosthetic implant, which would allow them to record neuronal activity dedicated to identical limb movements. So those types of implants can either be put in and or around the ear, and or in the brain in the primary and or premotor cortex, and that would allow the perpetrators to monitor the neuronal activity to identical limb movement. Because you got to remember, these types of implants again are when you do the research and you see the ARM PDF file that's going to be put in the description, what you got to understand is that as the body is in specific types of limb movements, okay, shoulder and other parts like front part of the trapezoid muscle in the chest, the back trapezoid muscle, okay, the top of the shoulder, okay, the arm between the shoulder and the elbow itself, the forearm to the wrist to the hands to the fingers. These are, and when you engage in an identical limb movement, like picking up a cup of coffee or picking up a cup or picking up a bottle of soda, okay, that type of limb movement is dedicated to identical neuronal activity that is reported that they're recording. And once those populations of neurons are figured out, can they then go in and stimulate them through additional implants, electrophysiological signal implants, that are put in around the ear, the neck, including on the neck and the shoulder, okay? And that enables them, they're called myoelectric cuff electrodes, concerning the ones they put in the nerves, in order to record electrophysiological signals dedicated to EMG signals. EMG signals are dedicated to limb movement. And that would be working in direct concert with the neuroprosthetic. And so would that then allow them to know remotely, because these implants are being interfaced with remotely, okay, that would allow them to know when that limb movement is in that specific position. So when the computer on their end is reading it out that it is, the people they're using in the environment, they're told when their phone vibrates in their pocket and they feel it to immediately say a specific word and phrase. So when you think about it, when you're in any environment and you're hearing any sound in your environment, you're hearing that in right brain mode, which is your unconscious awareness. Okay? So they're creating and trained neural pathways through the ultrasound, okay, in the right hemisphere. Okay? Because when you're hearing your environmental noises, this is unconscious awareness, the brain trained waves that are being created, brain waves that are being created through ultrasound. It's basically artificial neural networks they're creating, literally. And those artificial neural networks are also playing a role in the electrophysiological signals dedicated to the EMG movements, which is your musculatory movement and limb movement. When your hand and arm is in that position of picking up the cup, putting the cup to the mouth, drinking it, holding it there to drink it, and then setting it back down, they're able to identify those electrophysiological signals dedicated to that movements, and more than likely the population of neurons dedicated to it in the primary and or premotor cortex. Right? So that, and by the way, this interface is occurring at the speed of light. Okay? So, absolutely. So that gives, once that limb movement is initiated, okay, they're already seeing that it's beginning to be in play. Okay? And since they've already got it identified, they know when that'll, and plus if you got islands implants in you, oh, absolutely, well, they can see you're picking it up. Okay? While you're in an environment, by the way, that's got massive color coding in it. So if you got an auditorial visual brain-to-computer interface implant, okay, then they're literally able to distinguish what you're seeing. Literally, remote neural monitoring. I know this is a lot to chew on, but just hear me out. So what you got to understand here is that when they see that limb movement is in play, that at the speed of light, because it's a supercomputer that's crunching the data, then that gives them the time they need to send the vibration, okay, through to the phone in the pocket, the perpetrators in the environment feel the vibration, and then they immediately say specific words and phrases. Okay? So they're also then attenuating to and entraining the phonetics to these movements. The phonetics of the repeated words and phrases, and possibly any other specific sound that's in the environment, like tones. Okay? Oh, absolutely. So, one thing you got to understand about these vicious, sadist, demented, depraved, absolutely psychosociopaths is that, well, one, they don't allow you to prove you got any implants in you, even when you got evidence that they're there, like the islands implants. Oh, absolutely. And by the way, you should know, you can research these types of implants to also visual tracking and or eye gazing monitoring. Okay? When we engage in a limb movement, we either got, we can have unconscious, subconscious, preconscious, or conscious motivations for it, including thoughts, like I'm going to pick up my cup and drink my soda. Okay? So, you should also know that if any of these people that are in any of these environments, when something like this is going on, in reference to the repeated words and phrases, some of them can be actual syndicated members. And if they're syndicated members, then they can even be communicated with through voice of skull, which means the computer would then notify them internally auditorily, and or if they have ear implants in them, to nudge them to say these words and phrases when the cup is up to the mouth. So, as a result of the phonetics of these words, writing on the ultrasound, because the phonetics got sound frequencies and decibels writing on the ultrasound, when that limb movement is in play, then what they're doing is that they're infusing the phonetics on the ultrasound to the brainwave that's being created that's associated to this limb movement. And it's happening in the right hemisphere. So why would they be programming the unconscious mind to a limb movement of putting the hand in the cup position to the word suck dick and suck my dick and suck the dick? You ever hear of the date rape drug? Okay? They get you in an environment where they give you a certain measure of the date rape drug and you're partially unconscious. Somebody speaks the command of suck my dick or suck dick, and then your arm moves by itself and grabs one, and then you engage in that behavior. These people are sick. You got to understand something about these people, folks. They are demented. They are fucking demented. Okay? They're sick sadists, human trafficking, rape, and murdering animals. And another thing you need to pay attention to is that these sick fucking little whores, they can use neural weapons on victims along their routes and to influence their speech, poor speech and remote monitoring, and to influence their decision making and actions. Especially if you got that arm PDF file, arm implant PDF file in you, and the leg implant PDF file in you, okay, and an auditory implant in you for voice to skull with voice morphing to get you to act out, arrest you, take you to the court. The court says, we better put you in probate control because you're either a threat to yourself or others and or can't take care of yourself and or are mentally ill. You are then put in a group home where your food and or drinks are drugged, and then they got you and they videotape the rapes. Let me tell you something about these sick, disgusting, vile animals. They make thousands of dollars just off of one videotaped rape. And if they want to make it appear that the victim is not being raped, but they're actually cooperating with the sexual exploitation, all they got to do is do something like this and feed the victim a measure of Rohypnol. You got to understand something about these sick, demented, absolutely filthy, criminally insane bastards. Okay? Look, the cooperation of a human being during a rape, and if they're videotaping it, then it doesn't look like rape. For one, absolutely. Because they're unconsciously controlling you against your will through the bio-robotization of you as a direct result of being able to control you to participate. And when you see the leg PDF file that I'm going to incorporate within the description of this video, you're going to see that leg PDF file also has implants in the waist and the hip. So say if you got a gang stalking victim who they made homeless. So if you've been made homeless and you're a female, how do you think that female is going, number one, when they have to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night? They put a urine cup under their body so that they can go, number one, in the urine cup. So when they're going number one in the urine cup, their ass is sticking up in the air, okay, while they're holding their hand in the cup position right by their vagina. That's another identified limb movement. So if you got a leg implant in you that's got a hip flexor implant in you and a waist flexor implant in you, they can then turn around and stimulate the body to go into that bodily posture, which would then make it appear that the victim is cooperating within these videotaped rapes. These people are sick because they're here to sadistically, brutally, heinously enslave you. They take away your freedom and then sexually enslave you. And if any of these... See, because what you got to understand, they know you know this. If this is what's... Because I got to say things carefully. If this is what's going on. So, because when you're being raped through a certain measure of Rohypnol, you'll have partial memory of it. Okay? You'll have vague partial memories of it. They'll even take those visual memories and loop it back to you. It literally through brain-to-computer interface and remote neural monitoring and visual cortex hacking. So, folks, you got to understand something about these sick, demented bastards. They want you to know. This crime fucking wants you to know. Because what you got to understand about these sick, fucking disgusting... I'm sorry about the language. But what you got to understand about these sick, demented bastards... I want you to imagine something like this happening to you through a crime that staged a brutal rape of you, that put you out on the street, made you homeless, that staged over 15 physical assaults from you, that robbed you every single month, that enslaved you for over 25 years concerning another matter. These people don't give a fuck. They're literally here to sadistically, brutally, rape you mentally, psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, physically, every way they fucking can, in the most brutal way imaginable and unimaginable. So, anybody, like, let me give you an example and then I gotta let you go. Let's say if they lure a woman to a house and they rape her and they videotape it, whether she knows it was videotaped or not. Then when she gets away from the house, they'll literally take sections of that videotaped rape and loop it back to her visual cortex. So you see your own image being raped. I fucking shit you not. So who is the main reported host of this crime? The CIA, the DOD, the DIA, the NSA, DHS, FBI, compartmentalized segments of the military, okay? Working in direct concert with state, county, local governments, state, county, local police. Okay, oh, absolutely. State, county, local police, organized crime, intimately, directly connected to all of them. They don't give a fuck. That includes disabling you by hitting your bones, okay, to not only cause you to fall so you break a bone, but also disabling you through these implants so you can't even take care of yourself, so that you gotta go into a group home. Okay? You fucking would not believe how sick these cocksuckers are. I'm sorry. Oh, I did not mean to say that at all. Okay? So I apologize. Okay? But you gotta understand something about these vicious ass animals. They will literally tape a videotaped rape of you. Okay? And loop it back to the visual cortex through remote monitoring and harass you about it and mock you about it through voice to skull as you're seeing it. So, in closing, if you don't think these people, again, make shit go, absolutely. Folks, look, every limb movement is dedicated to a set of population of neurons and a brain trained pathway. Okay? Natural and through ultrasound. So, if you've been made homeless and you put yourself, I want you to imagine you being a woman and being inside of a tent. Okay? And at any time when you got to go to the bathroom, okay, you pick up your urine cup and you set it underneath your vagina. And while you're setting up doing this, your back is leaning forward and your ass is sticking straight out. Okay, they will literally mock you about that. How? Because, and by the way, you should also research the digital twins related to gang stalking. Digital twins, which means that it's reported what they're doing is creating a digital outline of your body that can be visually seen on a computer. And then they'll mark on that body where the implants are and what they can do through them. And so when you are in that position of going to the bathroom with a urine cup, they can see you're bent over. Because the implants are feeding them back that information of what type of physical posture your body is in. Like, let's say if you're a female and you got to go to the bathroom using a urine cup, as you're in that position, would voice to skull say, who does she want to fuck? Because you got to remember, when you're in that position, the front part of your body is facing forward, your head is straight up, so your mouth is on your face, while your ass is up in the air, while you got your hand in a cup position holding the urine cup. So if you look at, like, when a woman gets on top of a man for sex, she'll take his penis and put it in her vagina, and her hand is on his penis in a cup position. Same exact identical physical posture as when a woman is bending over to put a urine cup underneath her so she can go to the bathroom. So do you see what I'm saying? Okay? So that's a auditorial statement to that type of body posture. And then if that's heard through voice of skull in the left ear, it's going directly to the right brain. Right brain is unconscious awareness. It's auditorial programming to a brainwave as you're in that fucking position. So I'm here to tell you right now, these are the most sick, demented, disgusting, vile fucking animals that have ever walked this fucking planet. Imagine a crime making you fucking homeless. Okay? While you're being tortured through directed energy weapons and electromagnetic weapons and infrasound and ultrasound. Okay? So I want to thank you for listening to me, folks. And make sure you research this information in the description of this video so you can see these PDF files. These and let me tell you something. When it comes to these types of implants, that's hospitals and doctors. And more than likely also, I've seen many reports on the internet over the years, including research groups at universities who are working in a contracting way with the just aforementioned responsible parties for this crime. And by the way, they'll not only disable you through these implants, but they can also cause you to lose massive weight. Because all that radiation going through your muscles, okay? Your food not digestion right because they're fucking going after the nutrients through the gastric implant, dumping radiation in your stomach and intestines. Absolutely, and you would not believe how many posts are on the internet concerning gang stalking targets openly stating that they're transmitting sick, disgusting visual imagery of pornography into the visual cortex of victims. Okay? So you ask yourself, why would gang stalk, oh my God, suck dick, suck on my dick, suck the dick, being said in Carl's Jr.? And after I left Carl's Jr., I went to Bonds. Now, if anything like that was or was not caught at Bonds on that date, I'm here to tell you right now, I got many audio files of it being caught in Bonds. At least two separate Bonds locations. So I gotta let you go, folks, because I got stuff to do. I thank you for listening, okay? When you got these types of implants in you, you're not allowed to prove it medically, like going to a hospital, a doctor, a medical clinic, a medical center, even private practice doctors. And why do you think that is? Okay? Well, it's reported all over the internet that the host of the crime is privately colluding with these places so that when you go to get an X-ray, CAT scan, or an MRI, they'll take these tests, but then they'll fake the test results and then just claim you're fine. You would not believe what this fucking crime is capable. You just would not believe it. And by the way, this is the crime of gang stalking is going on all over the country at the epidemic level. And you got to remember, these are biomedical implants, so it's a medical crime to begin with, in part. The Air Force Research Lab in DARPA is also massively implicated in this crime. Hold on. Absolutely. Okay, so do you really think an average citizen has got any way to fight all these different demonic, sick, filthy bitches? The CIA, the NSA, the DOD, the DIA, DHS, FBI, state, county, local government, state, county, local police are not all over the internet to be intimately, directly connected to this fucking crime, and nothing's going on? Implicated by tens of thousands of victims? Yet nothing's going on. So I thank you for your attention, and I apologize. Look, I'm aware that a lot of this sounds peculiar to the uneducated mind. Stay with this account. Make sure you look at what's going to be put in the description. Okay? These sick little fucking bastards, they can walk you to places where you can get raped. They can walk you to square off with people that are color coding you and or saying something or acting in a provocative way. They can get you to fucking pick up your phone and take video pictures of people who have been used either currently and or in the recent past or the past. So they can then turn around and say, you're taking video pictures in here of these employees and or customers, and we can't have that in here, so now you're banned. By the way, let's see if that happens for any reason. At the Vons grocery store on Regent Square on Arabia Street, UC Laundromat, Rite Aid, and or Coffee Bean and Tea Leaf on Governor Road and Genesee Avenue. Including the next time I go in any of these fucking places and they ban you based on them trying to claim that concerning prior complaints on prior dates. Because if they can take away your... And here's one last tidbit. I want you to pay attention to this. When you're made homeless, you don't have a refrigerator to put your food in. You don't have a place to where you can buy 24-pack or 12 packs of water. Especially if you don't have a car, because how are you going to carry those types of groceries with you? Okay, back to your hiking area. So they know you got to go to the grocery store every 3 or 4 days. They fucking know it. So if they're tearing down the body through these implants, and then you go to a grocery store and they stage something to ban you, then you got to go way on the other side of fucking town to go to another grocery store every 3 or 4 days. Now, what does that do? That puts you on bus routes more, where you can be harassed by bus drivers, fake bus passengers, and you'll be subject to gang stalking at the new store. And if this new grocery store doesn't allow you to take your bike in while you're inside shopping, they'll steal your bike or damage it. I mean, come on. Just go to Google and research how they're staging vehicle accidents all over the country. Yeah, why do you think I don't have a car? Okay? Absolutely. So you see, in order for them to put you into more environments so you can be subject to the same bullshit that you're already putting up with concerning the community-based harassment, they got to cause you to be on more buses. They got to cause you, okay? And not only that, having to go way out of your way to go to grocery stores, okay, every 3 or 4 days, massively compromise your schedule so you can't get any other work done, like preparing for lawyers, going to find lawyers, finding doctors. Okay? Absolutely. Okay? So, let me tell you something right now. Grocery stores are one of the biggest places reported to be involved in this crime all over the nation. Absolutely. Okay? All over the nation. And by the way, check this out. How many audit files do I got that show Bond's employees and customers saying suck dick, gang stalk, oh my God? And how many audit files do I got it caught being said at massive other businesses, including the employees at these businesses? So consider this, and I literally got to let you go. I'm going to be printing out an email that was made on September 10th, 2009. And what does that email state? That I'm being identically harassed along my routes and that they're even using employees in businesses. Now, that email was made 2 months and 1 day. Oh, hold on a minute. June, July, August, September. 3 months and 1 day after I discovered the name of the crime that I was enduring in Michigan, gang stalking, by its name. Okay? Michigan's 3,000 miles away from San Diego. Okay? So think about this. I print out that 2009 email, and it openly shows it being stated employees are being used. How many fucking audio files do I got? Show Carl's Jr. employees say it. And even the ex-manager, who just retired in the last week or so. And same things concerning Bonds, Ralph's, Starbucks, Phil's Coffee Shop, CBS, Whole Foods. Okay? So think about what I'm saying. The email openly states that they're using employees in business I regularly frequent and I'm being identically harassed along my routes. In Michigan. Emails got electronic time and date stamps on them. So I'm going to be printing that out here either when I go out today, okay, or in the very, very, very near future. And you would not fucking believe the gang stalking I've endured in Phil's Coffee Shop on Bill La Jolla Square Drive. So I appreciate your time and attention. And by the way, when it comes to the digital twin thing, now I know you don't understand that because it sounds peculiar. But it's one of the heaviest, the biggest things reported online by very educated victims. Because the perpetrators, so if you got out a 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and you drew the outline of a body, okay? And then what you would do then is you would make little circles, itty bitty little circles of the places in the body that the implants are at, okay? Now, these implants got also sensor nodes. It's biometric data reading that's remotely done. Because these implants allow specific... Because remember, these implants are a lot of them, you can have one or more sets of integrated implants. So that means the integrated means that they're working together. Okay? So these implants got sensor nodes. So, and then also the recording of electrophysiological signals, right? Dedicated to limb movement. So when you're in a specific limb movement, no matter what it is, a physical posture, okay, a physical gesture, okay, they're able to see that that is in play through the seeing that the same electrophysiological signals are being produced from that same limb movement. So the computer's reading it out. Absolutely. And it's identifying it. So one of the ways it identifies it is by and through these sensor nodes as well. Now, so if the computer's recognizing it, because it's already harvested those populations of neurons and EMG signals from those types of limb movements as a result of these limb movements. I mean, think about it. If you go into Carl's Jr. 300 times in 2.5, 3 years, how many times then when I've been in Carl's Jr. have I lifted my cup up to my mouth? How many times throughout the day do I take a drink of water from my water bottle and put a cigarette up to my mouth? Okay? That's identical limb movements, right? So when you re-engage in that limb movement, the computer is literally seeing that that's occurring. And so what is reported they're doing is they're creating a digital twin, like an outline of your body. And it's marking on it where the implants are at. And so then when you engage in that movement, that outline is also engaging in that movement. Okay? Oh, absolutely. So the perpetrators that are sitting in front of the supercomputer can also see that is occurring. And so they can program the computer for voice to skull to harass you about that limb movement. Like when you're putting a urine cup up against your vagina with your ass sticking up in the air and your body move forward. Your front torso, trunk, and everything move forward. So it's like your ass is up in the air while your hand is in a cup position at your vagina. And if your front body is moved forward, are they trying to infer to the mind, like to the visual cortex of, yeah, you're going to be fucked in the ass while you're being fucked in the vagina while you're leaning forward giving oral sex to a man. This is fucking literally how sick these demented bastards are. Because while you're in that limb movement, the hip flexor, the waist flexor, the hip flexor and the pelvic flexor, and the leg implants, and even the ankle, feet, and toes implants are allowing them to see exactly what bodily posture you're in as you're in that posture. So as you're in that posture, and the computer's reading it out, they program their software to spit through voice to skull to the victim, who does she want to fuck? And if you don't think that shit like that ain't going on, listen to this, and then I literally gotta let you go. I got an audio file of 3 or 4 women doing an online podcast with each other, talking about this crime. And one of the women, she goes by Sherry Canary or something like that, she openly says that when she's in her yoga class, look at the different positions the body go in when you go into yoga. I had never done yoga myself, but look at the different bodily positions your body goes in when you're doing a yoga posture, like bending over. Well, this woman openly states that her rectum is being burned as she is in a specific yoga position. So would that yoga position be bending over, where they're literally burning her rectum? Now, is that because they're literally putting implants? Because one of the additional things that's reported online about this crime is that these sick, disgusting maggots are putting implants in the women's vaginas, in their rectums, in men's rectums, and men's penises. So, say if you're watching a movie and you got eye lens implants in you, and there's a part in the movie where somebody's having sex, well, the computer can see what you're watching. And they see what you see concerning that scene of that movie. So right when you're seeing them having sex, okay, what what's reported they'll do is that they'll stimulate the vagina implant so that the vagina contracts. Yeah, in order to simulate the sensation of you being horny because of what you're seeing. Yeah, I've seen tweets on Twitter and posts on the internet showing men state that they're intentionally as a result of implants being put in their penis, that the perpetrators are intentionally giving them hard-ons. These are death and sex cults, folks. Death, sex, and slavery cults. It's all they are. They're sick, demented animals. And this is a biomedical crime, which means doctors are involved, multidisciplinary doctors are involved. Oh, absolutely. So thank you for listening. Everybody have a good day. Make sure you absolutely pay attention to what's in the description of this video series, so you can see I'm going to put a tweet link in it. It only takes you 2 minutes to create an anonymous Twitter account. Okay? Then what you want to do is take that tweet link and paste it in a tweet that you tweet. And then once you send that tweet, the tweet will come up. And it's a tweet chain. It's at least 12 tweets attached to it, one below each other. So make sure that you, when you bring up the pictures in these tweets, make sure you then snap screenshot them and then zoom in on them so you can see the titles of the scientific articles related to arm implants, leg implants, eye implants, ear implants, and so on. Okay? All right, thank you for listening, everybody. I got to let you go. Have a good day.